Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Real, Raw, and Relatable. This is the second episode that I am doing. Real, Raw, and Relatable is basically about me having real, raw, and relatable conversations with you guys in my car. And I don't know about you guys, but I have the best conversations with people and with God in my car. So, I'm just here to show you guys that you don't need a perfect setup. You don't need a perfect anything to be able to start a podcast and to be able to speak your truth and just share wisdom and experiences with others. And I came prepared this time. So I actually have a layout in front of me of what I would like to talk to you guys about. And today I'm going to be talking about Christian dating. And I feel like I've low-key been gatekeeping because every single time I have a conversation with girlfriends or even like my lash clients, I always run into the same conversations over and over again. And it's all about dating and helping women find their self-worth, helping them find their non-negotiables in their future partner, what they want, what they don't want, how they should be treated, how they shouldn't be treated, how to communicate your needs, how to communicate as a woman, the red flags that you should be looking out for, the questions that you should be asking on a first date, just all the things, right? And I feel like I say a lot of common knowledge things, but it's common knowledge to me, but when I share it with others, they're like, oh my gosh, that is actually really helpful. Thank you so much. And in my head, I'm like, wait, do you not know, like this knowledge? To me, I've known this type of, I guess, wisdom and knowledge for a while, and to others, I guess they haven't been exposed to that. So I just want to be able to help you guys out as much as I can with everything that I know, with everything that I've experienced. And so I am done gatekeeping. That is the title of this topic. I'm done gatekeeping. Again, I've realized that I have the same conversations with people over and over again, and I feel like I'm kind of annoying if I like repeat the same stuff over and over, but realistically, I've just realized that it is just the enemy trying to hold me back from sharing knowledge with all of you. And so, yeah, I'm just going to share what I know. I feel like I am repeating myself because I'm still trying to get used to this whole like podcast thing. I think this person just looked at me. But, anyways, I guess I should kind of start off by sharing my background, right? Like my dating background, my relationship background. So I think I already mentioned in the first episode that I was in a long-term relationship. I was in a 7-year long relationship, and although we talked about the future a lot, we talked about marriage, we talked about having kids, I feel like 7 years is a really, really long time to figure out if you want to marry that person or not. You guys probably have a different opinion than me, or if you're not Christian, then you probably think that that's normal. I've heard of people getting married and everything after being together for 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. But personally, now that I am in my faith, I just think that that is way too long. I think that you should know if this person is for you by like max, I would say year two. I think that's honestly pushing it for me. I think 2 years is a really long time because when you are dating as a Christian, there should be intentionality throughout the whole thing. And I'll get to that in a little bit. But I basically wanted to say that talking about the future isn't the same as building towards it. So basically, yes, you can talk about marriage, you can talk about the future and everything like that, but it doesn't really mean that you're moving forward and that you're moving towards it, if that makes sense. Because the time that you spend together dating should be very intentional. You guys should be asking each other questions that should already like vet out whether or not you can build a life with this person. And if you are already living together, if you're sleeping together, and just doing all the things that you would if you were married, there's nothing to really look forward to or to save for marriage, if that makes sense. I don't know. Basically, what I'm saying is, I actually told this to my boyfriend, but you cannot be giving wifey benefits on girlfriend's salary. And that goes on both ends. That relates to men as well. You guys can't be giving boyfriend benefits on like friend's salary. So if you know that a girl is not into you, why are you doing all these things like you're her boyfriend? From a girl's perspective, I personally think that if you're not interested in a guy and you know that he's interested in you and you're keeping him around and you're like going out, you're spending time together, you're putting all of this energy, investing time in this person, and you know that they're interested in you and they like you, but you're not interested, I personally don't believe in platonic friendships in that way, because once you know that the other person is interested in you, I think you should be a little bit more considerate about the other person's feelings. And naturally, that person is just going to like you even more the more that you guys spend time together, the more quality time that you guys have, the more conversations that you're going to have to get to know each other. Naturally, that person is just going to like you even more. So why would you put that person in a position to get hurt if you're not interested in them in the first place? That's probably going to tickle some feathers, but that's just my opinion. I'm not trying to attack you guys or anything. That's just like what I think. And it's vice versa, right? So if you are a girl and you like a guy and you know that he doesn't like you, why would you put yourself in a position to like him even more and spend time with him and just go on these friend dates, and you're getting to know him more, you're just investing more time and more energy in this person, and you just put yourself in this position of, I guess, like not being open to seeing what else is out there because you're so focused on this one person who is not even interested in you in the first place. Okay, I went on a little rampage there on platonic friendships, but let me go back to my point on like my relationship background and everything. So after my long-term relationship, I was already in therapy, so I thought that I was healed enough to go into another relationship already, because I was like, oh, I'm so over that relationship already. Like, it's been a while that I was like checked out. And the girlies know about how you can be checked out of a relationship before the relationship even ends, right? So that's how I feel where I was towards the end of that relationship. So as I was in therapy, I was like, oh, I'm in therapy. I'm like revealing so many things about myself, about my childhood, about my past traumas and everything. I feel like I'm ready to just like put myself out there. And I met someone on a work trip, and things just like happened naturally after like the breakup happened. And I started talking to him, and we didn't start dating officially until like 3 months later. And I know that that's soon, and I know that a lot of you guys can relate to that as well. Just like transitioning from being with someone every single day to just being by yourself and being alone was really hard for me. So that's why I was like, oh yeah, like I'm ready to hop into another relationship and invest more time, or like invest my time. And and energy into someone else because, like, I'm good. I'm fine. Realistically, yes, you can hop into another relationship because relationships is really where you can self reflect and see if you truly have healed. Because when you're by yourself, you're not really having a mirror in front of you and you're not getting triggered about certain things. So, being in that relationship, I feel like truly helped me um, heal in other ways because I definitely learned a lot about myself in that relationship. I learned a lot about like what I don't want in a partner and what I do want. And I know that it was all in God's plan for me because I wouldn't be able to speak on these experiences and have the knowledge that I do about dating if I didn't get into that relationship right away, right? So God always turns things around for good. He already knew that I was going to get into that relationship. And honestly, in the beginning of that relationship, I was a baby Christian. I was lukewarm. And I told myself that I wanted to save myself until marriage, but that didn't happen. And we were intimate. And I feel like that really clouded my judgment on whether or not this person was right for me because I'm pretty sure you guys can relate to this as well. But when the intimacy is really good, then you can mistake that for having really good connection. That's like the most PG way that I can explain that. But anyways, since we were good intimate wise, it was really hard for me to leave that relationship and to have clarity on whether or not this person really has everything that I want in a future partner, in a future husband, in a future father of my kids. So yeah, there were a lot of things that I wasn't really agreeing with, and I compromised because again, like, we were intimate. And I don't know if you guys know this, but when women are intimate, we release more oxytocin, which is the happy hormone. So that's exactly why it's really easy for us to get attached to guys when we do sleep with them. And for guys, yes, they do release oxytocin as well, but not as much. So that's why they are able to just sleep around and like not really have feelings. And once I learned that, I was like, oh, okay. So that's exactly why God told us to wait. Obviously, that's like one of the reasons. But anyways, yeah, so us being intimate just clouded my judgment on whether or not I wanted to be with this person for the long run. And towards the end, I would say that what happened was infidelity, not once but twice. And there were things on my end as well that I definitely needed to work on. I think that a relationship ending, there's always like things that both partners could have done to make sure that the relationship went better, I guess. Either way, infidelity is something that shouldn't happen in a relationship because why did it have to get there? You know, like, why did it have to get to that extreme? Like, there has to be some miscommunication there for any relationship to get to that point, right? So anyways, once that happened, it was the biggest heartbreak of my life. I had to do so much healing. Again, I resorted to filling the void because I still was a baby Christian. And as a baby Christian, I didn't really know that Christianity was about having a relationship with Jesus and it wasn't about religion. So I wasn't really in my word that much. I just went to church every Sunday, listened to worship music here and there. After my breakup, I wanted to go to the clubs again because that was something that he told me I couldn't do was to like go to bars and clubs and everything like that. So I felt like super controlled and suppressed, and I just was trying to fill the void, because going through a breakup and like facing those emotions and sitting with your emotions is so hard to do. So what did I do? I literally like found the most available man that wanted to entertain me and sleep with me, and that's exactly what I did. I probably slept with like 2 guys after my breakup, and it did nothing for me except like make me feel gross about myself. And I remember the last time that I slept with someone, it was like a random person that I met on a dating app. Guys, don't go on dating apps, because guys just want one thing there, and I promise you that God will give you your partner in the most divine way. But anyways, I met this guy on a Christian dating app, you guys. I met him on a Christian dating app. I feel like that's like so much worse. But anyways, I met him there, and I told him that I wanted to wait till marriage, and he completely agreed. But then we ended up sleeping together. And after he went home, I literally like got in my word, and I put it in a random book, and it was in Ephesians. And I remember the verse that got me so emotional and that made me feel Jesus' love for us for the first time. I don't really remember like exactly what the verse is, but basically the verse was about Paul praying that we get to experience how deep, how wide, how big God's love truly is for us. And I just felt an overwhelming amount of love in that moment. And I like went down to my knees, and I just said, thank you, God, so much for revealing yourself to me and having me experience this. That feeling that I had, the overwhelming feeling that I had of his love, was so amazing, and it was so overwhelming that I finally surrendered, like filling the void with men in that moment. And I just realized, like, wow, this is the love that I have been craving. This is what I needed to feel and what I needed to experience, to realize that no man could fill this void that I have been trying to fill and to distract myself with, except for Jesus. Like, he was going to be the only one who's going to truly heal me, who is going to fulfill me, and who is going to make me realize my worth before I can even step into something else. So yeah, when that happened, I actually got this promise ring, and I prayed over it, and I told myself that I wouldn't sleep with anyone until I got married. And I haven't since then, so thank you, Jesus. But yeah, during that time, I still had men who were interested and who wanted to pursue me, so I let them pursue, and I stood my ground on my standards. And during that time, like, I was still like growing in my faith, so I would say that my discernment wasn't as strong, but dating during that time is what helped me practice that spiritual muscle of discernment. And so I was able to trust that more. It says in scripture that above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. So it's super important for us to strengthen our discernment so that we can know whether or not to give people access to us, because just because someone gives you attention, it doesn't mean that they deserve access to you. Okay? And it's kind of bringing it back to my stance on platonic friendships. I don't believe platonic friendships exist once one person wants more, because God created attraction for a reason. Like, males and females are going to be attracted to each other. It's just like the natural thing that happens, right? I have personally been there. I have hurt people being in that position, and I have also been hurt being in that position. So that's why, like, I have that stance, because I care about people. I care about their feelings. I care about not hurting people. So because I've experienced that, I just don't want to put myself in that position ever again. And I hope that this can give you a different perspective on that as well, to just be more considerate of other people's feelings, even though having them around might be comforting to you. Okay, I am low-key running out of time here, because I thought that this wouldn't be that long. I thought it would be like maybe like 20 minutes, but I feel like I'm in a flow and I'm just like rambling about things. I wanted to talk about what intentional dating looks like as a Christian. So I think there are 3 phases of Christian dating. There's courting, dating, and then marriage. So courting to me is basically vetting out whether or not this person is being intentional with you. So if you guys are going in the same direction, if you guys agree about I guess like the foundational values that you have. So on a first date, to me, you need to get the hard questions out of the way. So what is their perspective on waiting until marriage? How long have they been in their faith? What is their history like? How often are they in their word? What are their friends like? What is their opinion on male and female roles in a relationship? Do they want kids in the future? What is their perspective on leadership and submission in a relationship? Like, these things I personally talk about on a first date, because I don't want to waste my time. If you don't have the same values as me and we're not going in the same direction, then there's no point in going on a second date. The first date isn't like all surface level and like talking about surface level questions, because your time is valuable, and dating as a Christian should be intentional from the get-go. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'm just too extreme, but we got no time to waste here, okay? Like, let's get to the point. Let's see if this is even gonna go anywhere. And if not, then let's just cut it off right now, because we need to guard our heart, right? So that's what it says in the Bible, that we need to, above all else, we need to guard our heart, right? So naturally, if you are attracted to someone and you spend more time with them, you're just gonna gain feelings for them. So again, don't put yourself in a position to get hurt. Just get all of the hard questions out of the way, so that you don't gain feelings with someone who doesn't have aligned values. And then after courting is when you get to date. And dating, to me, that is also being intentional. So you're not seeing other people anymore, because like courting, like you can have like dates with other people, whatever, and like see if you can even move forward. But dating, now you guys are exclusive. Now you guys are only dating each other, and you're having even deeper conversations, okay? It's not, oh, let's just have all laughs and giggles and it's all sunshine and rainbows. You are still being intentional when it comes to dating. Just because you're dating, it doesn't mean that the deep convos just disappear, and it doesn't mean that we have all the time in the world to just keep dating. During this time, you are observing their patterns, their character, their consistency, and you are actually seeing their faith in action, because during courting, it's just like trying to see if you have the same values, right? But when it comes to dating, that's when you can actually experience that person for who they really are, and you get to just see how their day-to-day life is, and you get to just see if their words align with their action now. And during this time, you are asking yourself, can I build a life with this person? And then after this time, that is when you are hopefully getting married, right? But during the dating phase, don't be afraid to spend this time like asking deeper questions to get to know them, because you have the rest of your life to have laughs and giggles with this person, right? When you're married, dating should be just as intentional as courting. And I'll say it again and again, your time is valuable. Christian dating should be intentional from day one all the way up until you guys get married. Okay, I have to go. I didn't realize again that it would take this long because I have other things to do today, but I wanted to just leave you guys off with 3 points. So, your heart is sacred, your time is valuable, and intentional dating isn't restrictive, it's protective. If you guys want me to dive deeper into anything that I had mentioned in this episode, just go ahead and let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next episode.